Greetings and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. Let's make some more friends, yeah. Geek is good. Oh, Steam, goddamn, go away, Steam, man. You're not supposed to have... Anyway, Volume 13 of Fate, Fortune, and Fashion. That one looks familiar. I don't remember who they were exactly, but I know we saw them in Pesterquest. So let's find out who they are properly. But this is a different person, this one. I think. Well, anyway, last time we had some friends. Blah, blah, blah. Friendship, blah, blah, blah. Correct. Oh. Just like, okay. Boldir Lamati. Hello, Boldir Lamati. Little squill guy. You just aren't feeling it today. You're getting more and more of these grey nights recently. Nights where the call of the streets, that infinite ramble for companionship, just sounds exhausting and meaningless. You had days like this back on Earth too, when getting out of bed just didn't seem worth it. The sun is just beginning to slip under the horizon, and usually this would be the sign to rise and shine, or rise and dark, but all you've managed to do so far this evening is make yourself some coffee. You recently mentioned to Tagora that you drink instant, and he was so disgusted that he gave you a coffee machine. He claimed it was an old one he doesn't use anymore, but it still had the price tag on it. On the table sits a palm husk Cornelia had taken off a dead kid especially for you, and cradled in your hand is a mug Skylescent. It looks like she painted it herself. Aw, well that's nice. There's a white blob on one side that you think is supposed to be Lady. You're even wearing the hoodie Malik gave you to cut the evening chill. Here you all are wrapped up in the warm embraces of your friends' goodwill, safe and sound. But deep inside you fester... Deep inside you festers something, different grammatical structure there. A gnawing existential dissatisfaction. That classic angst the philosophers wrote about. Your palm husk chimes and you pick it up lazily. What, another rando trying to slide into your DMs? Sorry folks, you just don't have time for that anymore. You are a friendship connoisseur, a sommelier of the rarest of amicable vintages. You unlock the screen to find a message. Psst, I'm not certain that this line is secure. Actually, I'm positive that it isn't, but I'm risking contact because it is imperative that we speak. I'm sending you rendezvous coordinates. If you wouldn't mind coming any time after the sun has set. Psst, I realize that this is unorthodox, so please believe me when I tell you that this is not a trick or a trap. I have important information regarding your place on Alternia. You attempt to reply to the message, but there isn't a cursor or anywhere to input text. In fact, there doesn't even appear to be a messenger app open on your phone. It's just a random text box floating in the void. Oh. You barely have a chance to read it all the way through before it vanishes and Google Maps opens with an address already programmed in. Well, hello there. It's close enough to walk to, which is great, because using a stolen scuttlebuggy still makes you a little nervous. Oh, we kept that? Damn, okay, fair enough. That's a risky move. You swallow the rest of your coffee and grab your shoes. Oh, we have shoes now! Holy shit, we've really gone up in the world. We didn't have shoes before, I'm pretty sure, I think. Your GPS leads you to a shop you recognize. It's the cafe from your weird sort of date with Linaire. It's not too crowded at this time of day. The usual studying crowd doesn't appear to be here. A couple trolls are sitting around sharing pots of tea. Oh, Ardata, hey there. Fool! Fucking idiot! I explicitly stated I wanted a sense of dayglow, not whatever this garbage is! Oh, you know this person. It really has been a minute, hasn't it? Yes, quite a while. I think it's been like probably 12 hours or something like that at this point. It should be, give or take. Ardata stands in front of the counter, shouting at the cash register. Whatever automated system runs the shop has apparently gotten her order wrong. What are you looking at, This is absolutely none of your... Oh, it's you. Ardata swiftly covers up her surprise, examining a sharp, perfectly shaped nail. You look different. Better? Let's not exaggerate. I simply meant you look less like toxic waste and more like run-of-the-grain grinder garbage. You'll tell Ardata that it's good to see her too. Man, this really takes you back. You'd been so simple back then, so unevolved. You were laser focused on a single desire, friendship. Come on, we still are. Come on now, don't give yourself too much credit, Stickman. You're still just a friend slut. Now, well, you still like friends, you really do, but you also have like a car and a sweatshirt with somebody's sign on it. You've moved up in the world. Fascinating. Oh, by the way, is she the one who summoned you here? Summoned? You? You must be joking. I haven't spared a single solitary thought for you since you dragged your wretched carcass out of my hive. Oh, well, she's not a very good friend. Absently, you push your hand into the pockets of your hoodie. Something crinkles between your fingers and you pull out a folded piece of notebook paper. Okay, this definitely hadn't been in there when you left your hive. We have a hive. You passed a couple people in the street, but you definitely don't remember any of them getting close enough to slip something in your pocket. Huh. It only says 2 words. Out back. Oh man, should you go? Let me go, go, go. Backyards are as bad as basements? No, they're not. Go, go, go. We're here to meet somebody else. Let's be real here. If you were ever going to refuse a suspicious invitation, you would have done it by now. You would have drawn the line at vehicle theft or murder church or anime club. You can't resist the social engagement. Your tragic flaw. Okay, I guess. Enjoy yourself. You head back through a beaded curtain, half expecting an alarm to ring. How do they keep people from just robbing stores here? Are there like lasers and shit? I mean, there's murder drones, so kinda technically, yeah. Plus nobody has an actual job, sort of. Some, okay, I guess some do, but the economy doesn't really exist here. Because I mean, this is basically, Alternia is essentially just a really glorified and death-filled daycare center until the kids grow up to be adults and sent off to war on outer space or something. Like, so there's no reason to have an economy. It's, I guess, or I don't know. It's weird. You emerge into a tidy little back garden. None of the plants here are ones you recognize from Earth, but it's still nice. You cross a bridge over a slow-flowing stream and find yourself looking down at a path that blooms into a tight, dizzying spiral. Maybe you're supposed to walk across it and ponder your place in the universe. Your contemplation will be inevitably cut off before it hits its climax, because someone is sitting at the center of the spiral. She is small, compact shape with her hair cut short and choppy around her chin, wearing a shapeless white dress. Really more of a robe. Oh, hello. Psst, I've been waiting for you. Hello, Boldir. Thanks for coming. She speaks in a stage whisper, low and full of air, but still loud enough to hear across the path. You pick your way carefully across the spiral, making sure not to mess any of it up, threading only inside the lines. The girl gives you a small, secretive smile. My name's Boldir. You ask her if this is her garden. Does she live here? It's nice, but it's not exactly out of the elements. Actually, it looks like there's some storm clouds rolling in. You're probably going to get rain soon. Oh yeah, my Cooper raccoon is over there, under that tree. She smiles again. You can't tell if she's messing around. In fact, she is entirely unreadable, like her face is a totally reflective surface, and all you're seeing is the cloudy sky and the garden. You can't tell how she feels about you at all. Would you like to sit down? Inside the circle, or... She looks around like she is only just realizing she's at the center of a complicated geometric pattern. It doesn't matter. I only wanted to see if you would follow the path, or trample through it. But you didn't either. You forged your own way while taking care to preserve that which has come before. Now you ask her what that means. Maybe nothing. I'm not sure. The wind tosses her hair and the clouds chase each other across the sky. If the rain comes, it will come soon. Boldir continues to look at you as you shift awkwardly and shiver, pushing your hands into your hoodie. This is different than any other friend meetup you've had, even with the others who purposefully sought you out. There is a serenity to Boldir that all the rest lack. Or maybe that's just this zen as fuck god getting to you. You try to remember what Boldir said to you in the message that she somehow managed to make appear on your phone and then immediately self-immolate. That she has some information for you about your place on Alternia or some shit like that. Did I say that? No, I guess I did. I suppose I want a chance to talk to you a bit before the end. I was starting to feel a little, jealous, maybe? Right. You guess everybody has been going on about the funny dumb alien robot who's been prowling the countryside. No, that's not it. Though I'm sure you're very funny. I just want a chance to talk to you. Someone who's so adrift in the swell of fate and the whims of the paradox. Paradox? You don't know anything about paradoxes. Well, you know what they are, you just don't see why they're relevant. They aren't. Paradoxes aren't relevant, but they're by their very nature. It's the essence of that nature that makes them so integral to this story. Alright, Boldir is the meta, sort of. You shake your head. You're not built for this cosmic stuff, you're just an orphan from Earth with quick fingers, for spaceships and apparently vehicles. Boldir gives you another sly smile. Oh? Quick fingers? You blush, you hadn't meant that as a dirty joke or anything. Also, your fingers are nowhere near as quick as hers. She somehow got a piece of paper in your pocket while you were standing in the cafe and she was back here. That's like reverse pickpocketing through astral projection. Boldir laughs. She stands up and moves across the garden path, following the spiral so swiftly and efficiently that she might as well be floating. She drifts over to one of the trees, pulling a coat down from where it's slung over a branch. There we go, that's how she looks. It covers her from chin to ankles, coming together to form an olive green symbol on her chest that looks like a question mark without the dot. A broad-brimmed hat finishes out the ensemble. Well, I can't teach you astral projection, but pickpocketing is actually quite simple. Would you care to learn? Ideally, we'd need a third person to act as the mark, but I think we can make it work. More crime, huh? Sure, let's do crime. May as well. We're accomplices to murder. What's pickpocketing? This all must start with the theft of a spaceship, and Boldir's right about all that fake horseshit that was supposed to happen. So, maybe you'll lean into it. Perfect! The first and most important aspect of the art of pickpocketing is staying unobtrusive. You think about mentioning that walking around in a great big coat and floppy hat is not the most unobtrusive thing you've ever seen, but you aren't the expert here. Also, you're an alien, so you don't really have room to talk. Maybe you should get a big coat like that yourself. You just love ripping looks off of all your friends. Boldir takes you through the basics of criminal sleight of hand, and on the whole, you aren't too bad. In fact, you think you might have a future in it if you weren't already on the career path of professional friendshipper. You don't know what this has to do with her learning about you or teaching you your place on Alternia, but it's fun and Boldir's a good teacher. If there's one thing this journey has taught you, it's that when something isn't actively painful or destructive, just ride it out. You don't think you'll be going around pickpocketing many trolls, enough of them already want to kill you, but it's good to have this skill in reserve if you ever need cash fast and don't feel like hitting up any of your rich friends. You wonder if Boldir uses it for anything besides passing notes. Psst, my source tell me you've been on Alternia for almost 3 pedigrees now. Is that like 3 weeks or months? You have no idea how long a pedigree is, but what the hell, sure. Impressive! No wonder. She trails off thoughtfully and shakes her head. You wish she would say something with some substance to it instead of just vague nonsense. But at least she isn't threatening you with violence or trying to stick wires into you, so you're counting this interaction successful so far. Also, you feel weirdly chilled out with Boldir. Sure, you want to be friends, but there's none of that stomach-churning, spine-bending desperation to make sure she likes you, at whatever the cost. You feel more awake than you have in weeks. Man, you got learned to pickpocket a gun behind the cafe more often if this is what it does to your stress levels. Want to get something to eat? Or maybe just coffee, because that's what they served here. Sure, you could use another caffeinated beverage on top of the other caffeinated beverage you had earlier. Why not? You'll sleep when you're dead. If only. We can't actually die. We go back to the main menu and start over, different choices. You follow her out of the garden and back into the cafe. Who is this now? Yet another friend? Oh, I thought that you're still here. Of course I am, fool! You were back there for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Wow, it felt like way longer than that. Guess you underestimate the power of a good training montage. You introduce Ardata to Boldir with the cheerful earnestness of someone who has forgotten the systemic classism of the planet on which they currently reside. Ardata stops you with an aristocratic sneer. Stop, before I have to stop you myself. I have absolutely no desire to mix with those so low on the social ladder. What in the world could she have to offer me? You shrug. You're not sure. Maybe friendship? You know friendships between people of different castes are possible. You've seen them happen. Regardless, you feel bad for exposing your newest friend to the vaguely nonsensical abuse of your oldest. You turn back to Boldir to apologize, and find her gazing coolly at Ardata like she could do it all night. There's none of the fear of reverence or of false obedience you've seen other low bloods display to blues. Instead, Boldir looks at Ardata like she's a bug. Worse, a pebble that she would just love to kick out of the way. Psst, nice to meet you in person, Miss Carmia. I hear your GrubTube channel has been losing subscribers recently. I wonder why that is. Oh, cheeky one. Boldir takes no shit. Blue hits Ardata's cheeks in an angry flush. I'm currently on hiatus. The old garbage was getting tired. I have so many imitators that my own content is starting to seem derivative. She gives one of her maniacal laughs. That's a little less robust than usual. Man, the wild thunder of internet fame really is a stark and arid battleground. In fact, I have a new feature in the works as we speak. She holds up a little vial she's been haggling with her cash register over earlier. Poison! I think the best and most expedient process would just be to dose my featured guest's food and then hide the antidote somewhere in my hive. Unless you have another idea. She smiles, sly and mean. Boldir smiles back, just as vicious. Great, have fun with that. While Boldir talks, her eyes start flicking from you to Ardata and then down. Again and again. You, Ardata, and down. It takes a couple of her go-arounds before you realize what she is telling you. She keeps looking down to your hands, which are stuck in your hoodie pocket. Exactly where you found the note Boldir slipped you. Ardata is carrying a bag that looks expensive and extremely goth, and you can see where the vial of poison is sticking out. Aw man, you know what you have to do. When a group comes into the shop and pushes past through you, you move in on Ardata and slip a hand into the bag, palming the smooth, cold vial. She gives you a weird look like, why are you suddenly all up on me, peon? But she doesn't notice the theft. I suppose I'll be going now. And if I were you, I'd be more mindful of who I choose to associate myself with in the future. You say bye to her, feeling the tiniest bit guilty. But she's planning to use this poison to do murder theater in her prison basement, so you don't feel that bad. Take care now. Ardata leaves and Boldir takes an inquisitive step closer. Psst, show me. You open your hand to display the spoils, flushed with criminal euphoria. Oh hell no, you grabbed the wrong fucking vial. This one is blue, not red. You grabbed the antidote, not the poison. Oh god. You honestly thought you were moving past these kinds of cock-ups. Oh, damn. Well, at least you have antidote now. You never know when one of those might come in handy, I guess. She sways forward and clutches at her neck. For one confused second you think she's doing an impression of someone who might need an antidote, then she falls to her knees. No. You dive forward and catch her before she can totally eat it. She's heavier than she looks. Compact muscle and coat full of an ungodly number of weapons. She has like 4 guns in here. What the hell? Your arms are full, so you can only watch, helpless as a troll in a hood that covers their face and their horns book it out of the door. You shout that some fucker just stabbed your friend, but nobody here is looking at you. It's the same way people on Earth might ignore a mother trying to calm a toddler throwing a tantrum, just turning their eyes away from distasteful public scene. Ow! Damn it! You put a hand up to Boldir's neck to try to stauch the bleeding, but there isn't any bleeding. Bewildered, you pull apart the lapels of her coat to see a single drop of olive blood trembling above her collarbone. Discoloration spreads in dark spill over her neck and radiating down her chest. You both say it at the same time. Poison! You open your hand to look at the tiny blue vial, then back up to Boldir. Her eyes are glassy, her skin going blotchy and ashen. But like, there's so many different kinds of poisons and each one requires its own antidote. But like, sure, same one. There is no reason to believe that Ardata's poison and the poison the assassin used are the same, with the same antidote. It already strains the powers of coincidence that you grabbed the antidote at all. You're probably right. I mean, you can try. What's the worst that can happen? But maybe you should try it anyway. I can't feel my legs. Alright, right. Maybe the mere fact that this is such an unlikely happenstance means it will be the right antidote. Everything you've done so far has had the pull of inevitability to it, especially of your interactions with Boldir. Great! Awesome! I'm glad you're realizing your inherent significance to this particular microcosm of causation. Now, can you please pour that stuff in my mouth so I can swallow it and possibly not die? Right, let's help Boldir out. You help Boldir tip her head back and put the vial to her lips. At the last minute, you wonder if it's supposed to be diluted, but Boldir gulps the whole thing down and immediately begins to shake. Oh, okay, smoke. That's different. I'm not sure. What? Smoke billows out of her nostrils and open mouth, and holy shit, what is going on? This doesn't seem like any type of antidote to you. Maybe their biology works differently, who knows. But then the smoke clears and Boldir opens up her big yellow eyes. How does she feel? Alive. Marginally. She lets you help her to her feet. You immediately pull her into a fierce yet gentle hug. It's wild to undergo someone else's near-death experience. You feel like you know her way better than one montage scene's worth. Another new friend. Oof, not so tight. You ease up a little. All the tea sippers are staring at you now. Death apparently isn't interesting, but the possibility of some quadrant-adjacent stuff, they are all suddenly about it. Sorry, assholes. Just you and your new friend, sharing a touching post-near fatal encounter. Nothing to see here. Didn't die. Sure. Okay, Boldir. You know what? I normally don't do this, but Boldir is a different kind of person. Like, there's more to them. There's something more. There's something else here. We need to... Okay. We're gonna go to the backyard, but... Let's... No more crap, please. Let's do some philosophizing. Instead, Boldir, you have things to say. Something that's actually... different, I feel. I feel like this might be important to know for later context. You've already got a hell of a rap sheet. Maybe it would be best not to add any new skills that could lead you into temptation. Fair enough. Would you care to go for a stroll? It's a nice night. It's a windy, unsettled night, and looks like rain. You suppose that's nice, depending on your definition. You'd absolutely love to take a stroll. That's your whole vibe recently, strolling. You follow her out through a little back gate and into the street. You leave the cafe behind, are quickly consumed by the drift of the midnight crowd. You brace for the inevitable pitying, hostile looks you get whenever you go out in public. You should have mentioned that you try to avoid large groups, but strangely no one even glances at you. It's like Boldir exudes a sneaky aura that encompasses the both of you. As you walk, you ask her if she really believes in fate, like the two of you were always going to meet and nothing could have happened any differently no matter what you did. Boldir gives you a thoughtful sidelong glance. Well, that would imply that none of our choices matter, and that causality is inevitable. That randomness is irrelevant, right? Sure. You scamper to keep up with her, both physically and mentally. For someone who asks you to take a stroll, she sure is booking it down the street. But that disregards our choice. Fate dictates that all possibilities are, by their very nature, necessities. Or rather, the choice you made was the only one you ever could make. I doubt the universe is that simple. It doesn't sound simple to you, but you hum and nod sagely because you don't want Boldir to think you're deep. Because you want her to think you're deep. Instead of asking yourself whether you're meant to meet me and meant to be here, it makes more sense to wonder what the forces are that have conspired to bring it into being. Well, that would be exhaustion and ineptitude. You don't exactly remember what happened, but you're sure it involved something stupid like falling asleep at the wheel and drifting off into another solar system. It had been a rough 48 hours, you know. A lot of escaping and running and punching and stealing of high-powered vehicles.
Yes, of course. I understand. All in a day's work.
She stops you at the most intersections, so she can take surreptitious glances around the corner before gesturing you forward. Every so often she will turn the two of you around to double back. You aren't exactly sure why. Maybe she thinks you are being followed, but who would follow you from a cafe?
All sorts. But don't worry. I know how to shake off a tail.
Cross one of the main thoroughfares and a big black bird swoops at your heads. You yelp and duck, but when you look around you see that the bird has landed on Boldir's arm and she's stroking its back. You brace yourself for it to start talking or some shit like that, because that's what your life is like now, but it just sticks its leg out for Boldir to remove a scrap of paper. It waits patiently for her to read the message and then scribble something on the back, before attaching it to the crow and throwing it back into the air. Man, that's some Harry Potter ass shit.
I know one of my informants wants to rendezvous in meat space. Unusual, but it has been an unusual day.
Unusual couple months, honestly.
Yes, of course. You've had it much harder than I have. What was I thinking?
Well, you weren't trying to get into a contest of whose life sucks more. But yeah, it's been rough. You appreciate that she can see that.
Of all the plans to be forced to, Alternia is, well, not ideal. Not the worst, but you still have my sympathies. Is there anything at all you'd like about it?
What about Alternia? Well, you're kinda digging this whole night as day thing. You're from a diurnal species, but you've always be a bit of a night owl. Also, not to brag, but you've made some seriously cool friends.
Yes, I've been following your exploits. Your friendship acquisition procedures are really quite impressive.
Ah, now you're blushing. You ask Boldir how she knows that much about your exploits, because it's only pretty recently you've had any sort of real social media presence. You suppose she could have a gargle or like Malak did, but...
Quick, around here!
Boldir leads you into a deserted lot between two buildings. There's nothing here except some broken bottles and a pile of old rubber tires. She leaves you behind the tire pile to keep watch, although she's probably just doing it to get you out of the way, which, fair. Then she heads out into the center of the lot, presumably to wait for her contact. You sit here twiddling your thumbs, trying to suppress the desire to pull out of your phone. That doesn't seem very covert ops. You just start to get really antsy, jittering your leg and cracking your knuckles and digging a little hole in the dirt with a stick, when you hear something strange beneath the wind. A swish, followed by a thunk. Ah. Thunk. Yeah, crossbow bolt, I guess. Boldir jerks and clutches her neck. You writhe up from your rubber pile, sending tires flying. You look wildly up at the surrounding buildings, trying to find out where the projectile came from. You don't see anyone, not even a lone gunman. You run for your new friend, not spending a thought for your own safety. The clouds move overhead like someone has put them on fast forward, the wind rattling the trash on the pavement. By the time you reach Boldir, she has begun to twitch in hard spasms. One look at the blotchy stain spreading across her neck, and there's no doubt. You both say it at the same time. Poison! You fall to your knees beside her. Oh god, what are you supposed to do? You don't know anything about poison or first aid or anything else useful. Oh god, why are you such a fucking waste of space? You could have been gaining some life skills instead of just loafing around like a complete idiot. You...
Stop, don't. There isn't time. This stuff acts fast.
Boldir takes hard, gasping breaths between each word. Her eyes are going cloudy. She makes a desperate grab for your hands.
Listen!
For the first time, her voice rises above a whisper. Her grip is surprisingly strong. You tell her to save her strength, but she shakes her head so hard that her hat falls off.
I'm not important.
You tell her to stop being dramatic. Of course she's important.
I'm not being dramatic. Well, maybe a little because I'm dying. But still, remember what I said about fate.
Fuck fate, you don't want anything to do with it if this is the kind of shit's going to pull on you.
So many of your friends have died because of you. Because of your incredible inability to well, twists and stutters. Your guts are a record, and that record is skipping. For a moment you're sure that whoever that poison-shooting bastard is has shot you too. But then your vision clears and you feel the rain on the back of your neck, the world rolling back to you in waves of color and sound. The dark sky splits open on a fault line of lightning. Boldir's hand goes limp in your own. With shaking fingers you reach out to touch her motionless cheek. Fuck. Fuck! Not again! Why? An uncontrollable wave of despair washes over you as you look down at the corpse of this little girl you barely knew. Where are all these feelings coming from? There's honestly too many of them. Why are they? Okay. We got a little bit more of the fate stuff. But yeah, okay. Death scene. Anyway, we fixed it in the alternative timeline. It's fine. We got... Ah, you fucks. I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew there was... I knew it. I knew the right path would not be the correct one. Not for this. Not for Boldir. Again. Must I do everything myself? Hello, Thanos. AKA, go back to the main menu and do everything correctly this time. But we already did in the first attempt. But there we go. See? This Boldir was a peculiar fate-based one in Pesterquest, and now here we are again. And we have Thanos this time. Must I do everything myself? No, I can't do a Thanos voice, can I? Well, okay, it's not the same exact words, but still. Again, must I do everything myself? I'll do it myself, or something like that. Anyway. There we go. There we go. The meta plot is making its appearance now. Beyond individual friendships, encounters and stuff like that. There's something beyond, just like last time. Through death and failure, we learn of it. Success knits us friendship and happy feels and stuff like that. Mostly, except for times when it's like fucked up in the... Anyway. It only took us 12 hours, but we got there. We're getting there. Anyway, I'll see you next time for some more Hiveswap Friendsimming and something more, probably. Ooh, who knows?